Once upon a time, in a land far, far away, there lived Prince Billy and his really annoying, nagging princess wife. But he wanted to get away from her because she was so annoying, and so he decided to build another castle. The prince could never stop thinking about his new castle. He thought about it all day and all night.
Prince Billy wandered through the castle. Suddenly, he saw a fairy godmother. The fairy godmother gave him magical blueprints called DNA.
Looking through the blueprint, Prince Billy noticed that there were only 4 different letters, also called nucleotides, on the page: A, T, C, and G. He also noticed that every word, or codon, was composed of only 3 letters. He assumed that each codon was instructing for a single building material. At the very end of the page was something called a stop codon. Prince Billy gave the blueprints to a scribe, so it could be copied and sent out. The scribe sat down for days, copying the blueprint word for word.
So the scribe set off to make an RNA copy of the DNA blueprint of the castle for Prince Billy. To make the copy, he used a process called transcription, which is the synthesis of RNA from the section of a DNA template or a gene. The first step of transcription is initiation, in which the RNA polymerase binds to the promoter or the starting point on the DNA strand, and the DNA strand is unwound, initiating the transcription of the template strand of DNA. Next, the scribe moves on to elongation, in which the RNA polymerase continues to unwind the double helix of the DNA, exposing the DNA nucleotides to be paired with the RNA nucleotides. The RNA strand is elongated as nucleotides are added. Finally, in the last step, termination, the RNA polymerase detaches from the DNA, and the newly created RNA transcript is released. The script must finalize his work, however, before showing it to Prince Billy. The pre-mRNA that he has just created has to be processed. 5' end of the pre-mRNA receives a 5' cap, which is a modified form of a guanine nucleotide. At the 3' end, 50 to 250 adenine nucleotides are added, forming a poly-A tail. This processing is necessary to both help the prince deliver the mRNA out of the nucleus safely, and to keep the new copy of the blueprint from degradation by hydrolytic enzymes.
The scribe finished the transcription and gave the finished mRNA to a unicorn messenger.
The unicorn brought the RNA to Amosibir, the land of the great castle builders. The castle was constructed just like the final phase of protein synthesis, where messenger RNA is translated into amino acids and finally a protein. The worksite was constructed with the scribe's copy of the blueprint at its center, just as ribosomal subunits are put together around messenger RNA. The peasants, or the transfer RNA, brought the building materials, or the amino acids, into the A, P, and E sites. The workers would bring their materials into the A site, and then in the P site, they would line up and put all their materials on the castle, and then exit at the E site to repeat the process over again. Initiation was the very beginning of the project. Elongation was while the castle was being constructed, and termination was dictated by the stop codon. The entire process was overlooked and ran by the ribosomal RNA. Prince Billy saw the finished castle, and it was exactly what he wanted it to be. He lived happily ever after.